Guys, this is a good one I got going here today. This is about a business that is a front for a drug dealing organization. Or it's not entirely a front, but part of the income is drug money. It's a front, okay? They do make some money off of the what they are in business for, but it is the bulk of the money comes from drug running and drug transporting from Mexico to the United States and throughout various metropolitan areas. So this is it's a smaller painting company. I don't know if I guess you could call it a smaller painting company. Anyway, it's a painting company, okay? And what these guys do is they mainly paint houses, which a painting company, if they're large scale and painting, large numbers of houses each week, then that can be pretty, lucrative and profitable. But that's not what they're doing. They're painting one or two houses a week, if that. And I don't know. They have the number of painters they have. It varies anywhere from 3 to 5 painters, maybe 6. 3 to 5. I don't think there's ever been 6 there. Anyhow, so what they do, they go get a house, paint a house, make a little money, pay all the workers, pay for the material, the paint, and all these things. Paint another house the next week. 1 or 2 a week. That's all they're doing. That's not a whole lot, okay? Yet, this is supposedly enough to pay all these guys all this money, enough for them to live pretty decently on, and pay for the owner to have a very nice house in a very nice neighborhood that I know pretty well. I know the price range in that area, and I also know the numbers for painting houses. I know there's like a rough range of how much you can paint a house for. I mean, it's not going to be astronomically different, from one place to the next, in the same metro area. So I'm familiar with the numbers. And they don't add up. Okay, they just do not add up. He's rolling in money. He's got a lot of money and living very well, and has his kids in the best schools in that area. And that's all great. That's something that a lot of people want, and that's a great thing. If it's not at the expense of other people, if you're not pumping poison into other communities and ruining their families and their children and causing poverty and brokenness in other families and homes and children's lives so that yours can do well, that's wrong. On every level, there's nothing right about that at all. So I don't have respect for him at all. And I knew the guy for a while. I didn't know about this at first. I didn't know that this is what was going on. I didn't know this is what he was doing. I started getting a little suspicious of something. I just started thinking, hey, yeah, something's not right here. The way he's living, the volume of houses he's painting, it wasn't that much. And I've known other painting companies who, what would be considered, a small painting company, that were painting the same amount of houses and sometimes even more. And they weren't living anywhere near this good. I mean, they were living just fine, but nowhere near the level that this guy that I'm focusing on is living at. So the numbers they just didn't add up. Something wasn't right. But I wasn't getting too suspicious. It's just like, okay, I don't know. Doesn't look quite right. Well, then I start learning a little bit more about his employees. A couple of them in particular. Not all of them. He's got some guys that are, two or three guys that are, painters and just were looking for a job and are just, they're just workers. They're not involved in any of it. They're just painters, and they go and they paint houses. However, he has one key employee who, he paints, but he's not, he doesn't paint all the time, and he's not exactly a painter. And then he's got another guy that's kind of a little bit newer, and he's not exactly a legitimate person either. So you got these two painters, you got two or three that are, they're just guys working. I don't even think they know anything about what's going on. They're just legit employees and they're working, okay? They're painting houses and, getting their paycheck every Friday and, doing what they can do to make ends meet. Probably, I don't know, they probably have wives that are working too, so things are, seem to be okay with them. However, these two, one of them, okay. I didn't think much of it at first, but as I got a little more familiar with a couple of his employees, I started thinking, wait a minute, man, this something's not right. And each of them, this is something that they would do. Each of them would say little things like, I don't know why they would talk about it. I would think you shouldn't talk about it, but who knows? Some people they feel so. I don't know if there's an arrogance or something that they feel like they need to brag about, but I've noticed that some people involved in criminal activity, I mean, probably not, obviously not all, but they want to talk about it a little bit or drop little hints. And I'm like, why are you doing that? Why would you do that? Like, you're risking getting in trouble. Why would you even talk about it? But whatever, hey, go ahead and spill the beans on yourself. By all means, go ahead, because I really don't care for what you're doing. I think it's not cool. I think you're ruining families and children's lives and other people's lives, adults' lives, and destroying communities, bringing violence and murder to communities fueled by the drugs that they are bringing to those communities and neighborhoods. So no, none of it is good. There's nothing good about it, what these guys are doing. So the one painter, air quote painter, his name is Aaron. Now Aaron's a bad guy. There's nothing good about this guy. And I didn't realize this, like when I first met the owner. That's who I met first, was the owner and his family, and got to know them through just through other means. Nothing really involved in their business, or definitely not involved in the other things they're doing. And then, but through that, I met their work crew, their workers, and then started seeing things with this guy Aaron, and the other guy, his little sidekick. His name is Jorge. And Jorge's a little guy. He's a piece of work. He's probably about, I don't know, 5'5", skinny little guy. And yeah, Aaron and Jorge. These are bad guys. Aaron is the main person that's involved in bringing the drugs from Mexico to the United States. So here's what they're doing. The owner of the company, gives Aaron money to either buy entirely a shipment or a portion of a shipment, half of a shipment, 100% of the shipment. I don't know the exact numbers. So then he, the owner, gets a portion of the proceeds, if you will, or the sales. When these drugs are brought into the United States and sold, a portion of those profits or sales go to the owner of this company, because he put up, I don't know, 10,000, 30,000, however much he put up for part of the purchase of these drugs from Mexico. The connection to Mexico is Aaron. You see, now Aaron, his brother, lives in Mexico and is involved with the cartel in Mexico. All right, now here's the interesting thing about his brother. His brother used to live in the United States, but he went on the run. Why did he go on the run? Because he's wanted for a murder committed in the United States. His brother was wanted for a murder a murder in the United States. I say was because his brother faked his death. So the police in that city, this is a very large city and very large metropolitan area. The police in that city who were looking for Aaron's brother thought he was dead because Aaron's brother faked his death. I don't know all the specifics about how all that went down, but he faked his death and fooled the police. So the police department that was looking for him for a murder, he did this so they would stop looking for him, thinking that the guy they want for the murder is also dead. So that, had that effect of causing the police to not look for him anymore. Took a big load off of his mind, I suppose, right? So to be safer, faked his death and then left the country and went to Mexico. And that's where he's at. Okay. So that's the connection to Mexico. So the owner of the company, he gives Aaron a large amount of money. Aaron goes, this is all prearranged. He doesn't just show up, hey, I'm trying to find this. It's all prearranged and coordinated, how much they're going to buy, and how it's all going to work. So Aaron takes the money, goes down to Mexico to, air quote, visit, and then, of course, comes back. He uses this money to purchase these drugs. Comes back to the United States and has somebody else that's another family member of his. See, his whole family is involved in this connection, this drug organization that's a connection between the United States and Mexico. Okay? So Aaron was working with his father and other members of his family, but he said he didn't want to deal with them anymore, so he's venturing out on his own, or whatever. But then another time he was back with his dad doing the same old stuff. So anyhow, he brings the drugs back to the United States, purchased by the owner of the paint company that he works for, purchased by the business owner. Okay, they sell the drugs throughout this metro area, and who knows how far it goes. It may even be shipped around the United States. That part I'm not 100% certain about, but I do know for certain it is sold all throughout this very large metropolitan area. Okay, and I suspect other parts of the United States. So one time Aaron had to make an emergency trip down to Mexico, and he needed to get some medical supplies. You're like, what do you need these for? He gets them. The owner of the paint company helps him get some medical supplies. Okay, so he goes down to Mexico. Turns out He needed the medical supplies because his brother, who lives in Mexico, the one who was wanted for murder in the United States but faked his death and then left the country so the police would no longer be looking for him, thinking that he is dead. And there's their murder suspect has since died, so, get the heat off of him and leave the country to be, even safer, right? Well, he's down there in Mexico working in some capacity with the cartel. I don't know exactly what his capacity is with this group, but he's working with them. That's never a good idea. So something happens, and he has to be punished by this cartel. Something happened. He did something. They think he did something. Who knows? Well, the punishment he received was some severe cuts on his arm, on one of his arms. Very large cuts, deep cuts. And I believe a part of his flesh was cut out of his arm, I believe is what, if I recall correctly, what took place. And very deep cuts. Okay. This ended up getting infected. So he was becoming very sick. And he couldn't get the medication he needed in Mexico. I don't know why that is. I don't know what they have there. But anyway. So he contacted his brother in the United States, his brother Aaron. Told him the situation, said he's very sick. He needs this stuff. He's sick from this infection that's coursing through his body now, that started from this cut, this punishment, that he received from the cartel. So Aaron talks to the owner of the company. How do I get this kind of medicine? The owner of the company gets the medicine for him. Aaron runs it down to the border, meets his brother, gives him the medicine. Brother takes it, hey, thanks, bro. Yeah, you're welcome, The one brother who was wanted for murder goes his way back into Mexico. Aaron back up to the, metro area that, he lives in. And apparently that medicine, whatever it was, helped the infection go away. His brother started to heal up and do better, and was feeling much better and started regaining his health. The wound started to heal up better, and just a nasty scar, like a permanent reminder, don't ever burn us, or whatever it is they think he did. Probably not burn him, they probably would have killed him for that. But anyway, so now, fast forward a little while, the brother's healed up, and everything is back to business as usual. The owner of the company gives Aaron some money. Aaron has already, coordinated with his brother, who works with the cartel in some capacity, and they go down. Aaron goes down there, takes the money from the owner, goes down there. They coordinate the when and where and how, and they do the deal. Aaron comes back to the metro area and takes the drugs either to his dad or to some other group that he also works with kind of loosely. So that's what they do. Now, then you got Jorge. Okay? Jorge is a little guy from, he moved out to this area from a different city, a different state, in fact. And lo and behold, Jorge also is, Jorge is in the United States illegally, and has been since he was a very young child. But he said his dad fixed his paperwork for him so nobody could ever find out, and it appears that he was born in the United States. But he, in fact, was not born in the United States. He was born in Mexico and was stuck across the border as a young child with his parents. So, Jorge also has associations with a Mexican drug cartel. Not nearly as much as Aaron does, but some. And Jorge has told me about things he's seen down there, killings, just some really, really, really bad stuff that cartels do. Not stuff that you want to see, and probably, I don't know if you want to hear about it. I don't even want to hear about it. Anyway, so Jorge and Aaron, they were together. They take turns making these trips. Aaron was the main smuggler, transporter, and Jorge is kind of secondary. And then they got to where they were basically alternating. And Jorge would go down there, the same thing. Jorge'd go down there, and Aaron would coordinate it. Jorge didn't coordinate it. Aaron would coordinate it with his brother, who works with the cartel. He'd coordinate the when, where, how. Okay, the owner of the company would give the money. Jorge would drive down there. He'd have the money. He'd make the deal, bring the dope back to the United States. He'd act like he's going down there to visit family. That's what it always is. I'm going to visit some family, a cousin, or this or that. That's what it always is. It's not on vacation. It's always, I'm going to visit a family member. And it's always a drug deal is what it is. So, they bring it up. He's a transporter. And you see, they get their money for driving the drugs, and they get paid pretty significantly for driving, transporting the drugs from Mexico into the United States and into this large metro area, and taking it either to Aaron's dad's house or to a few other people that they work with. They get paid, pretty well for this, which is, not a good thing, and I hope nobody's being tempted by the words I'm saying here. It's not a good thing. So anyhow, so Aaron, like I said, Aaron's the main guy. It's his brother who's the connection to the cartel. The owner and Aaron work this deal out, and Jorge is in the mix, and they alternate trips and sometimes go together. Okay. Now, the one time Aaron got kidnapped, and this was in the United States. He got kidnapped by some other drug dealers. I don't know what this was about, if something was a little short, there was a misunderstanding of some money, if somebody got ripped off, if it was a warning. I don't know what it was. But Aaron apparently went to go drop some drugs off at a house, and he's been doing this for a long time. And the guys kidnapped him. He knew these guys. They kidnapped him. They held him there for days. And it had something to do with, I recall now. Now it had something to do with money that his dad owed. Money that Aaron's dad owed. So they held Aaron. Don't think Aaron's some nice guy. The poor son. No. No. Aaron's a bad dude. They all are. So I guess, the money apparently came through, and they let Aaron go. Just like that. Open the door, get out of here, they let him go. And I'm like, they just let you go like that? And that's it. Apparently they felt comfortable enough to know, to not have to worry if he's going to go to the police or not. Because if that was the case, they might not have let him go so easily, or because he knew who they were, is what I'm getting at. So he could easily identify them and tell who they were. Tell the police who they were. But I think they knew he's not going to go to the police because Aaron's a criminal. So he's not going to go to the police and say, yeah, I went to do a drug drop from some dope I brought up from Mexico, and I went to drop it at a house, and the guys there that I usually give it to, they held me hostage at gunpoint because my dad, who's also a drug dealer, owed them money, and they wanted their money then, and they weren't letting me go until they got their money. Oh, and by the way, the paint company that I air quote, work for, he funds a large portion of the money for us to get the drugs to bring up here to the United States and sell throughout this large metro area and a few other states, I'm sure. Yeah, he's not going to do that. And they're confident he's not going to do that because these guys are like in too deep to, the criminal realm and criminal lifestyle. So they don't do that. They don't call the police. They get kidnapped, they don't call the police. And apparently it's all well. Like the dad's like, okay, I gave you your money, let my son go, da 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 da, da, and it's all good. Like there's no like retribution. There's no like the dad's going after these guys who kidnapped his son and that. I guess because they didn't hurt his son. He's a grown man. It's not like he's some kid. He's a grown man. He's in his. I'm trying to think how old he is. He's in his mid-20s. He's a grown man. He knows what he's doing. So that was that. Then you got, like I said, Jorge. He's I don't want to discount his involvement because he's a bad guy too, and he's making the trips down there too. He's just not the coordinator of it. He's the transporter. However, Jorge is said to have killed some people and wants to. He has this little guy Jorge, he's about 5'5", maybe 5'6". I don't know if he's even that tall. Very skinny little guy, and wears glasses. Not all the time, but wears glasses. And he has this infatuation with like violence and killing, and he wants to kill someone. He actually told me this, and has killed people in Mexico for the cartel, and says that there's people here in the United States that he's had some situations with and that he's going to deal with and take care of. I took that to mean that these guys might get killed. If he's successful in it and what he wants to do to them, they may end up dead. I hope he's not successful. I hope he doesn't even try. I hope these people survive and none of that happens. Anyway. So Jorge used to drive this little yellow 2-door sporty little car with one of those loud mufflers. Not enhanced, but modified exhaust systems, that are loud, and it's a pretty quick little car. He used to drive one of those. Then he ended up parking that. I believe he still owned it. He didn't sell it or anything. I think he said he had it in his backyard. He lives with his parents, and he's about 20, maybe 19 to 21. He's in that range. The yellow car, from what I understand, he parked in his parents' backyard, which is where he lives with his parents. And he got a red pickup truck that is very fast. And it's super modified, souped up engine, race tires. Well, he races his truck, and he goes to these things in these parking lots where they just, I don't know what they call it, like they're just burning out, spinning their cars around and mainly trucks. They're spinning their trucks around in circles, burning the tires, spinning the tires, going in circles, racing each other, and they're making videos of it and putting the videos online. And excuse me, sorry about that. Putting the videos online. I've seen a couple of those type of videos. I don't really watch that stuff, but anyway, that's the kind of stuff he does with his truck. And the truck he got from the money from transporting the drugs, because I remember his mom was asking him, where do you get the money for this truck? How do you have this money? And he said, from working. And his mom didn't believe him, because his mom's smart. It was like, you don't make that much money painting these houses. You make an hourly wage, and you don't make that much. And how could you suddenly have thousands of dollars to buy this souped up race truck? And he said, I got it from work and this and that. But he's lying to his mom because he doesn't want his mom to know all the details about what he's doing. But he got the money from the drug runs, and they told him, the paint company owner and Aaron told him, don't buy it yet, because they said, you don't want to draw attention, wait a while. So he told the guy that he was going to buy the truck from, hey, I'll buy it from you, but I gotta, wait. If you just hold it for me, I will buy it for you. I had the money. And apparently, like, he showed the guy the money to prove that he had it. He had, like, the cash. And then, it was over 10 grand. But he said, I'll give you a couple grand now. Just hold it for me for a few more weeks. And, they made that deal. And he's like, bam, boom, gave him, I think it was 2 grand or 2,500 just to sit on the truck, just to hold it, not to sell it to somebody else. Then he went back later, and, he had the money that day to buy it, but they were telling him, don't buy it yet, it'll look suspicious. He just got back from a trip from Mexico, and all of a sudden you buy this, this truck for, I think it was 12 grand or 10 or 12 grand, something like that. And he said, no, don't do that, just wait, a while. So anyway, he waited what to him seemed like a while, and he got the truck. And the truck is just, it's just a toy, for him. He goes spinning the tires, like I said. They make these videos in these parking lots at night, and he races the truck too. They race, they do, just stuff like that. So that is the story of the painting company that's a front, or uses its proceeds to buy drugs from Mexico from Aaron's brother, who's a connection, who was wanted for a murder but faked his death so they wouldn't look at him, left the country, working for a cartel in Mexico. And Jorge. That is the story. That is what I have on this. I wish I had more. I don't associate with these guys, and I haven't talked to them for a little while, and I don't really want to. I wish I knew a little bit more of the details. That's what I know. The other thing is, there's a little bit more. Like, the owner of the paint company, he's got a brother who he's doing his own thing. He's also living above his income. I'll just say that. Definitely above his income. Got a, acre or so of land. Just, it doesn't add up. And he has his own connection. Okay? Aaron and Jorge are the one brothers, drug connection and transporters. Okay? Who he provides the capital, the funding, and then he gets a cut of the profits. Okay? But the other brother, he has a similar situation going on, but it's with a completely different connection. All right? A completely different drug dealer that's not affiliated with Aaron's brother or any of the stuff. It's like a different vein. It might be the same cartel, I don't know, but it's like a different group. So that brother, also a painter, works with this other guy that guy does not do painting though. He does like trench work. What is it? I don't know if it's a backhoe. No, I think it's a trencher and a grader. A grading tractor. That guy drives that kind of stuff, and the other brother, he paints, but those two guys work together somehow on a lot of projects. But it's all about the drugs, though, because that guy who does the trenching and grading, that is not his sole source of income. He's a drug dealer. Okay? And he also is connected to it's like a little bit different type of connection from Mexico. I think he is a drop-off person. Like somebody brings the drugs and he gets large quantities of drugs from Mexico brought to him, and then he gets involved in the selling of these drugs throughout this large metropolitan area. So that's it. That's all I got on this. I wish I had more, but the story was interesting. The story is interesting. I hope you find it interesting. If you know anything about any of these kind of things, man, leave a comment. Tell me what you know. I'm interested. If you know something that you want me to look into and, get information about and maybe put a story together for it, I'll, let me know and I'll absolutely look into it and possibly do that. Maybe give you credit for it. I don't know. We'll see where it goes. But let me know your thoughts on this one. I know this is not totally uncommon. I mean, it's not happening everywhere, but it's not completely uncommon. In fact, there's another one that I know that's doing something very similar, but on a much larger scale. This guy is a part owner of a construction company, a good-sized construction company, multi-millions of dollars in annual sales. This guy lives in an area called Fire Rock, which is in a town, Fire Rock is a community northeast of the Phoenix area. I believe it would be either east or northeast of Scottsdale. This guy lives there. Not the guy that I just told you the story about. That's a different person, the guy at the painting company. He lives in a nice area too. But it's not. These are not the same people. This other one I know, like I said, he's a part owner of a construction company, significantly bigger company. I mean, multi-millions of dollars in annual sales, hundreds of employees, and these guys make big money. And he's doing a very similar thing. You see, I'm gonna do a story on that one too. It gives him access to cartels, the workers, the illegals that come up, and even non-illegals. But he gets to talking to them, he gets to know them, and through conversations finds out who he can work with and to bring to provide the capital, provide the money to bring large quantities of drugs into the United States and sell them, and he makes a profit on that, as well as all the money he's already making from the construction company that he's part owner of. I didn't mean to talk about that one that long. Intro into an up-and-coming episode that I'll be putting together. I don't know. I want to say soon, but I don't know if it'll be soon. But at some point, I am going to do that one as well. I got pretty good information on that one already, but I may want to look into a little bit more information on that one. Anyway, so this is it for now with the painting company, who the owner is living far above his means. I know the numbers of these houses. You're painting 1 or 2 houses a week. You're not making that kind of money, the kind of money that this guy's got. It's not happening. I know the numbers. I know how it works. And then, they basically told me. They all hinted and told me all these things. You got Aaron's brother who's wanted for murder but faked his death to get, so they stopped looking for him and then left the country. He starts working for a cartel. Maybe he's already working for a cartel, it's because his dad, him and Aaron's dad, is a drug dealer. These guys are in this stuff pretty deep, and that's what's going on. So it's an interesting situation. They're ruining lives, they're ruining communities, they're ruining children. So hopefully, somehow, some way, they'll be stopped, because they'll get caught, or they'll just stop doing it. Maybe they'll just stop doing it. I don't know. But that's what I got on that one. Let me know your thoughts. I got other episodes coming up for different types of crime and criminal activities going on that I'm familiar with, that I know about. So I have other episodes coming up soon on those. The other construction guy, that one I don't know when I'll do, but I will be doing that one. So let me know your thoughts. Leave a comment below. Remember to subscribe. Like I said, leave a comment. Smash the like button. Ring the bell so you get automatic updates and notifications when I update new or upload new content. As always, be good, be safe.